Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, make sure you subscribe below for more videos. So before I get started, just to give you a brief little background on me, I have been in 2 long distance relationships before. Both of them I would say were pretty long term, I guess, for a long distance relationship. So the first one was about 2 or 3 years, and then my husband, which was actually 4 years, and we've now been together for 10 years in total. So 4 of those years he was actually in a different country from me. I put together 10 points that would hopefully help you if you are in a long distance relationship and you're just looking for some extra advice. I just want to make a little disclaimer if you are new here. I am currently pregnant, and so I get out of breath pretty easily right now. So please bear with me, and I did make some notes on my phone just so I don't go off on a tangent, okay? So number 1, I would say have an understanding of your relationship status. Now, I know long distance relationships can kind of be broken up into different categories. Either you met in the same place and then one went away, or you were both just in 2 different places from the get-go. Especially now with social media, I know a lot of people meet online, and so they never actually get a chance to spend a lot of time in the same space, but they are still in a relationship. So I think it's important to have a clear understanding of what your status is. So the reason I say this is because if you're not exclusive to each other, or you haven't had that conversation to confirm if you are, then if one is out there talking to other people in real time, going out for dates with other people, and the other person feels like they're being completely exclusive to this person that isn't physically with them, then that's not going to be very good for the future of a long distance relationship. There's going to be trust issues, communication issues, and it probably won't last very long. So make sure from the get-go you guys have a clear understanding of where you are in the relationship. Are you both looking for a long-term relationship and you're looking to be exclusive with someone? So let that be known in the beginning so that nobody's feelings are hurt and nobody's left in the dark. Number 2, I would say decide to trust. Now, a lot of people talk about the trust issues with long distance relationships, but let me be very, very clear to you. You could be next door neighbors with your significant other and they can cheat on you and lie to you just as easily. So it really does not matter where they are. It's really about the person. So you have to just let yourself be all in with it or forget about it. If you're someone that cannot handle that and you think that, you'll be jealous or insecure, then maybe a long distance relationship isn't for you. So make sure you have a good understanding of this before you get into it, because you don't want to drive yourself crazy with it and turn into a little psychopath, and you don't want to drive that person crazy either with like, where are you now? What are you doing now? Blah, blah, blah. So you have to decide to either trust or just forget it. Because if someone's going to cheat on you, lie to you, they can do that anywhere in the world, including next door to you. Number 3, have a clear vision or understanding of your future plans. Now, if one of you is located in Japan and one of you is in England, and you both know that you will never ever leave those places and you never want to, then it's probably not the best idea for you to get into a long distance relationship with that other person. I know sometimes it's hard to picture yourself ever moving from where you are. Even for me, I didn't know that I was necessarily going to end up moving, but I wasn't completely against it either. Have an honest vision of whether you would be open to moving or the other person would be open to moving if things were to progress in your relationship. I know it's a lot of pressure to know off the top of your head, but at least to have that idea of whether you are flexible or the other person is flexible. Because if both of you have no plans of ever uprooting your lives to be with another person, then there's no point even trying a long distance relationship. Number 4, equal effort. Long distance relationships take extra effort than any relationship, I think, in my personal opinion. So it cannot be one-sided. One person can't be the one that's always trying to make the times for you guys to speak, always the one that is making the phone calls, the FaceTime, Skype meetings, whatever. If one person is making all the efforts, it's going to become obvious very soon, and feelings will get hurt. So make sure that you guys have an equal amount of effort if you want it to work, because it's not going to work if one person is doing all the work. Eventually that person will kind of get fed up with it. Next is an obvious one: communication. Communication is paramount in any relationship, but especially long distance relationships. Now we're in a time where you have so many means for communication, especially with smartphones. When I was in a long distance relationship, this was before smartphones and very much before any really good long distance plan. So we were relying on phone cards, and that was not fun. So now you actually have a really easy way to communicate. It's a lot easier than it was when I was in a long distance relationship with my husband, or even before that. So decide what works for you, switch it up: phone calls, emails, text messaging, WhatsApp, Skype, whatever, FaceTime. Figure out what works for you, or also like mix it up a little bit, and just make sure that that is a priority, because if you're not communicating, or you don't have a bit of a schedule of when you're going to speak or check in with each other, things just kind of fizzle. Number 6, I would say plan for visits. Now, this may not be realistic for everyone initially, but if you at least have an idea of when in the future, or after how many months together or whatever, when you're actually going to meet, that would be great. Now, what I did sometimes with my husband now, I would either go visit him in the States, or he would come home to Canada, or because we knew we had certain time, sorry, I'm so out of breath, or because we knew that he had a certain amount of time off, and then I would just make sure that I could get time off, and we would plan like spring break together, but going on vacation, so meeting in a different country. And that was so, oh my gosh, I could cry at the memories just thinking. I remember one time meeting in Jamaica, and then at the end of our trip in the airport, and I'm going back to Canada and he's going to the States. But it's great, it's exciting, like meeting each other in another country, or just one person visiting the other. And if it's expensive for wherever you're traveling, split the cost. Don't make it all on one person. Plan it out together. Plan out what you're going to do when the person goes there, if you plan on doing any sightseeing, if they're not from there, blah, blah, blah. But make sure it's like a joint effort, and you're also splitting the cost as well. Just so, again, it doesn't feel all one-sided. Number 7, I would say, is patience, which is, of course, another obvious one. But if you're wondering how to stay patient in your circumstances, sometimes I know long distance is not, it's a temporary thing. Maybe they're going away for work, or whatever, just for a certain amount of time. Keeping busy is the best advice I can give you. Keep yourself busy, keep yourself distracted, because if you're just dwelling on the fact that they're away every day, all day, you're gonna go crazy, and you might end up messaging them like things that, you know, kind of aren't really your personality, but you're just kind of frustrated, and you might just start fights and stuff like that for no reason other than the fact that you just want attention from them. So keep yourself busy, and the time will eventually go by. Trust me, I know it's hard, but you have to do that. And especially if you're with someone that is, you know, away doing something that is stressful, if it's work or studies or whatever, they're already really occupied with what they're doing with work, studies, whatever it is. So on one end, you might be thinking, oh, they don't have time for me, but they're already so occupied with something that it's not intentional. It's just that they're really busy, and you have to understand that you got to keep busy too, so that this person can get through with what the task is, so that you can eventually, you know, move forward together. So it's about being a little bit selfless with the time, and keeping yourself occupied so that you can stay patient, because patience and communication, I think, is like the two biggest things in long distance relationships. Number 8, I would say ignore the haters. There are going to be a lot of people, and these will be people like in your family, in your close circle of friends, that may not understand long distance relationships or may not take them seriously, and they'll say things that, you know, might get at your head about trust issues or not taking it seriously. And you can't let them get into your circle, because unless they're in the relationship, they don't really understand. Sometimes it'll make you think some crazy things that you probably wouldn't have really thought on your own, and you'll just start like making up stuff in your head and you'll go crazy. So when you know what's going on in the relationship, don't worry about other people on the outside telling you things, because a lot of times people will try to kind of bring you to their perspective. Sometimes you might have friends that are single. They're like, oh, just come out with us, blah, blah, blah. And they'll like encourage you to, like, you know, hook up with someone, or I don't know, I'm just coming up with different scenarios. And because they may not take you seriously, even though you are with someone, but they're not physically here. So just stay true to your relationship. And I mean, if your friends or family or whatever don't understand it, just let them not understand it. But that's fine. Just don't let them, you know, get to you. Because it brings me to my last one, number 9, which is understand the value. Now, I personally think a long distance relationship, as hard as it is, if you can actually do it and get through it, I personally think it builds the most solid relationship. Because, as I said, communication, which is huge in any relationship, yours becomes so much stronger, because that's all you've got is, you know, relying on communication. Patience is another one. It's huge. You know, when you're with someone in a relationship, you want to know that you would wait for them forever. You would wait for them, you know, till the cows come home, or whatever all those cliche sayings are. And trust, I mean, someone that is not physically with you all the time, of course you're going to have a different kind of trust than someone that you see maybe every day or every other day. So it really does make a solid relationship. And I can tell you from experience, there's nothing more exciting than seeing that person after you haven't seen them for a really long time, getting to spend time with them, even if it's a short amount of time. It's so worth it. And when the whole long distance part is done, it will feel like it went by like that. As I said, 4 years. At the time, it felt really long, but now it's like, it was nothing. It went by so fast. And, you know, now we're married 4 years after that. This year, we'll be married for 4 years. And together for 10 years in total. So it's definitely possible. You can actually have a very amazing and successful long distance relationship. So don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And hopefully this video was helpful to you. If it was, please give it a thumbs up to let me know, and let me know your stories in the comments below if you have been in a long distance relationship, if you're in one now, or what you think about them. Okay, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. I need someone that is 6'3", has perfect teeth, very well educated, perfect job, athletic, blah, blah. When you have a list of all these attributes that, you know, this person has to have, good luck. You will never find the perfect person. And if they check all the boxes visually for you, don't worry, the flaws are going to come out somewhere else. So you can just get rid of that list now, because nobody is perfect. Absolutely nobody.